United Nations report on human rights violations during the uprising in Bangladesh up to 15th of August is incoherent, incomplete, and also illogical. It has many loopholes, and there are many questions which need to be answered. The report doesn't address many facts, including the fact that Islamist extremist groups were behind the whole uprising. They tricked the general mass. Yes, Sheikh Hasina government had many faults and failures, and many of the government officials were involved in extrajudicial killings at times, and I have reasons to believe that as well. But the report doesn't confirm how Sheikh Hasina herself was aware of all this, and under the Bangladeshi laws, Sheikh Hasina doesn't have to know everything what goes on behind the scenes, especially when secret services are involved. It doesn't address the fact that Sheikh Hasina's government wanted to carve down the Islamist fascists who are now running the country. We saw many flags of the internationally banned Islamist militant group Hizb ut-Tahrir. We also saw flags of Al-Qaeda and Islamic State hoisted everywhere in Bangladesh after the fall of Sheikh Hasina, which proves that these powers were behind the orchestration of the whole uprising. But the report doesn't address those facts. It doesn't also address facts that many of the pro-independence institutions were attacked. Thousands of innocent Awami League activists were killed, even soon after the fall of Sheikh Hasina. I'm not sure how they conducted the interviews, and I understand some of them were conducted via social media or via online, which I obviously have reasons to question. There are also questions relating to whether they interviewed Chhatru League activists or the student wing of the Sheikh Hasina government, because they have the right to speak as well. But I also saw that the report doesn't address issues like how did they choose the interviewees. I have reasons to believe they were not free on the ground, given the present situation in Bangladesh where the terrorists are on the rampant and normal Awami League supporters can't even open their mouth. I have serious reasons to question whether UN representatives or investigators had the required freedom to move about freely to find facts. The report doesn't address the fact that soon after the fall of Sheikh Hasina's regime, immediately, many Awami League activists were arrested. They were charged with murder cases, and many of them are well-known individuals, highly respected individuals who never had any violent past. And all their cases are of similar nature. The report doesn't address those things. And they were all beaten up at the court premises by mainly Islamist extremists with lust for revenge. The report is incomplete, incoherent, and also partial. It's not impartial. There are many failures of the present government, and they are using left and right those options to thwart any investigation about murders of many innocent police officers. The report doesn't address that many innocent police officers were killed, brutalized in their own police stations when they were simply performing their given duties. The report doesn't address the issues of Islamists who were actively cooperating with the so-called Shamanakari students or cooperative students. the report doesn't address that whether the investigators really saw any so-called Ainagor or detention centers, and why they couldn't interview many of the detainees who were in the Ainagor. And why did they not interview Awami League activists in secret? Because all the Awami League activists are in the hiding. So how can you take this report to be free and fair? It doesn't address that the present regime is carrying out state-sponsored terrorism. So there needs to be an updated version of it, which should include actions and situations on the ground after the 15th of August. And how terrorist sympathizers and instigators are instigating terrorist activities sitting in France, sitting in USA. And how Yunus government failed to address those issues. So this report from the UN is incomplete, incoherent, and unacceptable and partial. And I reject it. And we should all reject it. Sheikh Hasina shouldn't face any trial in Bangladesh because the investigation is not free, because the present government is running ICT, or so-called International Crimes Tribunal, headed by the chief prosecutor who doesn't believe in the independence of Bangladesh, who is politically motivated to hand down punishments against the Awami League activists and leaders. And even the judges, one of the judges is a member of Bangladesh Nationalist Party, who is also politically motivated. So the report doesn't include many deserving facts. Rejected.